In this video, I'm gonna react to your hot takes for chapter 1164, and if you wanna be included in next week's hot takes video, make sure to follow me on X. And before we get into the video, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you like daily One Piece content, because I'm sure you fall in love with this channel. I'm here every day doing hints, leaks, chapter reviews, theories, reading your hot takes, doing everything, and I'll make sure to pop up in your feed. And come on, let's get into your hot takes. Here's a hot take. Rox will likely pull some Ono reverse kinda scenario in which he says room, revealing he had the Opi no Mi, Lost Devil Fruit, and swaps his spirit into Blackbeard / Teach at the last minute ditch effort before his main body gets killed. For starters, now Teach is gone from the God Valley because Kuma used his Devil Fruit with Eris and Teach. First of all, he's gone. Second of all, if for example Rox has Lost Devil Fruit, so there is a small chance of possibility of Rox having Lost Devil Fruit. And second of all, let's say for the sake of this argument, let's say Rox has or had Lost Devil Fruit. If he's gonna swap like bodies, just like what happened in Punk Hazard, now Rox is technically gonna swap hearts, right? So he's technically killing his son, which is gonna put his heart into Teach's body, and Teach's heart in Rox's body, and Rox's body is technically gonna die. So Rox will not kill his kid for the sake of saving himself. I don't think that's gonna happen, and I don't think that's something Rox would do, in my opinion. So I don't think there is possibility of it happening, in my opinion. The missing sword in the empty throne room was Davy Jones's. Their crime was trying to usurp the throne. At the beginning, one celestial dragon said that Davy committed a crime. Now Davy Jones was stated to be the king of the world. Emo said not for a second. I'm invested, lol. Honestly, that's a pretty good one, I think, because the swords in Emu-sama's empty throne room or all that, it's for the 20 kings, like way back in the day, like 800 years ago. That's their promise, where like there's no king above all, which is technically there is, which is Emu-sama, but that's their promise. That's why they inserted their swords in the empty throne, which is like a promise that all the kingdoms are like equal, and there's no king above us and all that stuff. But there is actually, but they don't know about it. So Emo is manipulating them, and maybe that's the case, but I think all the swords there are for the 20 kings back then and all that. So I don't think that's possible. But yeah, I've seen the theories that people were saying Rox's sword was there. So if that's the case, then maybe it's actually Davy Jones's sword and not Rox. Maybe. What do you think of One Piece going the route of Naruto ending? Do you think it is true? Because I think it's not as straightforward as Kaguya, Indra, Ashura stuff. There may be something we don't know, or some things we don't know. Yes, I do agree. I know it's kind of like we're going to that route, especially the Davy / Joy Boy with Emu. It's kind of similar, but it will not exactly be the same, because I think once we go back 800 years ago and once we see the flashback of Davy Jones, Joy Boy, and Emu-sama, I think it's gonna be totally different from that. It's gonna absolutely make sense for us viewers for it to be in the final battle, in the final saga. Once Luffy, Teach versus Emu-sama happens, it's gonna logically make so much sense. I'm not saying Naruto's ending was bad, but it wasn't the best, like the most pleasing one. It was kind of underwhelming, right? And when it comes to Oda's writing, especially the fact that he knows that Naruto's ending, some people were frustrated with and all that, I don't think he's going to that route. It is kind of similar when you look at it like from far away, but in the same perspective as seeing like on a weekly basis and seeing the story developing into the final saga, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like the case of Kaguya and all that with the two brothers and everything, with the two brothers and all that, I don't think that's gonna happen with Davy Jones, Joy Boy, and Emu-sama, I think. But yeah, hopefully it's not gonna be as underwhelming as Naruto's ending, but I trust Oda into making the final battle and the final saga absolutely epic. They clash off screen. After the off screen, we see Roger and Garp are heavily injured and Rox is killed / defeated. The end of the flashback. To be fair, I somewhat want that to happen actually. I don't want to see, I know some people may get frustrated with what I'm about to say, okay, but I don't want to see the full fight, because seeing Roger, Garp, Rox fighting, first of all, it's gonna take a lot to see, like, for it to fight to end, right? And second of all, I feel like we haven't reached the level of watching these top tier characters fighting, like fully fighting yet. I think Oda is simply saving all that for the final saga, maybe. So far in the story, we haven't seen the top tiers, the really top tiers fighting without it being off screen, somewhat off screen. So I don't think that's the time for us to see Roger and Garp fully like fighting, or Roger, Garp versus Rox for the full fight for us viewers or readers to see it. Hopefully it gets off screen. We get some clash, we get some named powers, named attacks from all the three, maybe. But yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, but I don't think that's the end of the flashback, because the flashback is technically Loki's flashback and King Harold's, so it's gonna be the end of God Valley flashback, the end of God Valley, maybe. But once we leave God Valley, we're still going back to King Harold, Loki, and how King Harold was actually dead, because that's essentially, that was the main thing of this flashback. Like, mostly we wanted, or Loki, and the whole flashback started because High Rodan was blaming Loki for the death of their father. So once we went to the flashback, it was Loki telling the story of how King Harold was dead. So once we end the flashback of God Valley, we're still going to the how did King Harold die. Big Mom got off guarded and couldn't show her true potential. Look, when it comes to Big Mom and Kaido, I think they did what, like, more than we expected them to do in this, in God Valley, in my opinion. Because first of all, they haven't reached their prime yet. They weren't the strongest. They weren't as strong as they were as a Yonko, okay, for starters. I mean, Kaido just ate the devil fruit, for God's sake, okay? But second of all, honestly, making them attacking Imusama was something that we haven't expected. Like, that was so epic that, in my opinion, it made Kaido and Big Mom as a characters and, like, power-wise, so interesting for us to see as Kaido and Big Mom attacking Imusama. But if you're saying that, like, Rox defeating them easily, it was caught off guarded for Big Mom with Rox. Yes, technically yes, because she wasn't expecting Rox to turn and immediately attack Big Mom. But Rox is way stronger than Big Mom at that time, especially in God Valley, because she hasn't reached her prime yet. So it makes sense for Rox to defeat Kaido and Big Mom. Like, I'm not saying one-shotting them, but yeah, I think it makes sense in my opinion. I wonder what scar Whitebeard was talking about when he talked with Shanks. I thought the scar he got must be from Garling, but I don't think it is the case. What is your opinion about it? I think we all thought once we got Figureland Garling's like first appearance or first introduction, we all thought that it all makes sense now that this is Shanks' father, and the scar Whitebeard was talking about with Shanks, that he reminded him of that guy, which is technically Figureland Garling. And we all thought that once we saw Figureland Garling in God Valley, before the flashback of God Valley starts, we all thought that, yeah, he's gonna get this scar from Figureland Garling in this, in God Valley. But now, the whole scenario of God Valley flashback is kind of leaning towards the Rox versus Garp and Roger, and maybe this is it. But technically, there's still a chance for Figureland Garling to fight Whitebeard. I think once we saw the clash between Rox and Whitebeard, I think it pretty much confirmed the fact that Whitebeard was hell of a strong. Like, I know so many people were saying that he hasn't reached his prime yet at that time. Yes, but Whitebeard without his prime is goddamn so strong, right? So maybe we will see. There's still a chance, like a slight chance of seeing Whitebeard versus Figureland Garling in God Valley. If that's not the case, and just simply God Valley flashback ends without Whitebeard fighting Figureland Garling, and we don't see that scar, maybe there's something into the future of Whitebeard fighting Figureland Garling. Maybe there's still some chance into that. But Whitebeard telling Shanks that he might, like, every time he sees Shanks, he reminds him of that guy, like, because of the scar and all that. I think it makes sense for it to be Figureland Garling, especially the fact that Shamrock was young, and once he grew up, Whitebeard reached his prime, so there's no chance in hell for that bum Shamrock to be able to scar and to, like, damage Whitebeard, right? So I think it gotta be Figureland Garling. How? We're gonna see some scenario by Oda, and he's gonna convince us, like, I promise you, okay? Imu's overconfidence will kill him. He will try give Shanks hope by not killing him immediately and then appear to crush him, just like he did with Xebec. But the difference is that Teach will be long prepared for Imu's attack. No, because Imusama's afraid of Davy Jones and Joy Boy, and Blackbeard, Teach, and Luffy are the descendant of Joy, or Teach is the descendant of Davy Jones, right? And Luffy has the inherited will of Joy Boy. He's now the reincarnation of Joy Boy, right? So now Imu is afraid of them. I don't think we're gonna see some overconfidence by Imusama once Imusama fights Luffy and Teach. I think the case is gonna be that Luffy and Teach are destined to defeat Imusama. Plus, I think their devil fruits are gonna play a huge part of the whole how to defeat Imusama, in my opinion. Especially the fact that Luffy's devil fruit is basically Nika, it's Joy Boy's devil fruit, and Teach's devil fruit, the whole black hole and canceling or deactivating the devil fruit and everything. Teach's devil fruit is gonna play a huge role into that as well. So Imusama is basically fighting Davy Jones and Joy Boy, so there's no time for overconfidence to not kill them or whatever. I think Imusama will get like 200% against Luffy and Teach with no like overconfidence or trying to like downplay them or whatever. I don't think that's the case in my opinion. Roger is stronger than Garp, Whitebeard, and Xebec by themselves. Apparently this is a hot take now according to One Piece X or whatever. I mean, come on, we have so much incredible stuff going on in One Piece. I don't think that's the time for power scaling or whatever. To be, like, quite frankly, I don't think we care who's stronger than who, like, as long as they're one of the greatest characters ever. Why do you care who's stronger than who? Whether it's Xebec is stronger than Roger, Garp, Whitebeard, or Roger is stronger, quite frankly, I don't think we give a damn at this point, because there's so much, like, they're so strong that at this point it doesn't matter who's stronger than who, because it's kind of be slight different between them. So I don't think that makes so much difference in my opinion. But if so, some people care about that. I think Xebec is slightly, at least, is stronger than all these guys in my opinion. Like, now he's got the Domi Reversi and he's powering up because of the Domi Reversi and the whole demon look, and he become bigger and stronger, of course. But the normal Rocksteady Xebec, yes, I think he's slightly, at least, stronger than Roger, Garp, and Whitebeard, like, by themselves individually, okay? Domi Reversi works via converting one's lifespan to power. It's like pouring petroleum on fire so that it burns out fast. There's no coming back once you reverse it if you're a human being, RIP rocks. Which explains why giants who live 400 years are the race everyone goes after. Lifespan is the key. The ability works the same as Big Mom, who used it against Kid and Law. She got bigger and had the same eye animation, and guess who she was going after for domination of the world? Giants. Yes, you're making sense of that, but at the same time, the whole Domi Reversi is still a mystery. Like, we can't tell as a fact, like for a fact, on how to turn someone or making him get Domi Reversi. There's still so many theories out there, and none of it is like confirmed or whatever. I think there's a chance for everybody to say who do they think or how do they think people get Domi Reversi. Whether it's the Homeland theory, whether it's making people get angry or making them vulnerable or fear Imusama, or your theory right now, the whole lifespan and pouring petroleum and all that. Maybe that's the case, but the idea of once you get Domi Reversi, there's no turning back, and it's like pouring petroleum because it's taking your lifespan. I don't think Imusama would want these people who got Domi Reversi to die, right? And Imusama has the ability to make everyone immortal, and they got the regeneration, all that stuff. So I think no. Like, once you get them reversed, it's up to Imusama once you die or not. I think that's the case, in my opinion. The God Valley has epic chapters, but they're processed very quickly. The God Valley did not deserve to be processed so quickly. Being hasty was bad. Okay, I think this hot take, I think someone said it in the previous chapter, and I was talking about it, the idea that I somewhat agree that Oda was not rushing. It's not the good term for it, but he was there, he was speeding up the God Valley flashback, and so many people got upset, got pissed with what I said, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. Yeah, I somewhat agree with that. I think there's a reason why Oda is speeding up the God Valley or rushing God Valley. It's the idea that this is basically a flashback of a flashback, so there is no time for Oda to simply make this flashback or the God Valley incident goes for like 10-15 chapters. I think the pacing now is quite decent, although yeah, he is kind of speeding up, but okay, this is it. I'm not gonna say anything about that because I know people will get pissed at that. Okay, I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I think Oda should have revealed the look of Emu in this arc. It would have been more impactful. Okay, so for starters, the whole God Valley flashback is for Rox. It's Rox's saga. It's the story of Rox the Xebec. So it's not the time or the place for Oda to reveal the look of Emu. I know it's kind of frustrated and sometimes Oda just stalls and he drags some stuff, but when it comes to Emu-sama and the look of Emu-sama, I think it makes sense for the reveal to happen in the final like battle. Once the final battle starts with Luffy, Teach, Dragon, whatever, once they face Emu-sama, I think this would be the perfect time to reveal the look of Emu-sama. I know we're so excited to see the look of Emu-sama, but I think it makes sense for the reveal to happen in front of like Luffy, Teach, aka Joy Boy and Davy Jones, and then maybe we get some flashback with Emu-sama, Davy Jones and Joy Boy, and that would make so much sense for the reveal of Emu-sama to be more epic and more exciting, and then we go to the flashback of Emu, Davy Jones and Joy Boy. So yeah, I think that's what I want to see in my opinion, and I think God Valley is for Rox the Xebec, so it's not the time or the place for the reveal of the look of Emu-sama. Davy was king, Joy Boy rose to power, Lily loved Joy Boy, Emu was jealous of them because Mu wanted to be like them to impress Lily and started a whole war that lasted ages. I believe that Lily and Mo had a friendship when they were young, which caused the spews of jealousy. Okay, when it comes to the whole theory about that, I'm gonna make a video about it hopefully tomorrow. I think tomorrow and Saturday I'm gonna make a video about this theory, so I think this is it. I love this theory, okay? For starters, I love this theory. Wait for tomorrow's video because it's gonna be related about this topic. And I guess that's it, guys. That's the hot takes for today's video and this week's chapter. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video, all that stuff. And I'll meet you guys tomorrow, and I'll be there every week. And for next week's hot take, make sure to follow me on X. Thank you guys for watching. Mwah.